Hunter Biden is increasingly upset. Oh, no. His plea deal didn't go through. The one that he tried to orchestrate and cram down the gullets of America using his daddy's Department of Justice. It went a little bit awry after both him and the DOJ, his defense attorneys, all colluded to squeeze this thing through. Now, CBS, Catherine Herridge, she was there on scene. She was sitting just right behind Hunter, and we read through the full transcript of that proceeding. If you missed that, I'd encourage you to watch that. It was a doozy. And Judge Norika did an amazing job holding these people accountable. But Catherine Herridge is going to tell us that as she's sitting there in this room full of media, we're watching this train wreck slowly get worse. It's coming off the tracks until this explosion happens, and suddenly the deal's not going to go through. Hunter and his lawyers said that they've been working on this thing for 5 years. They had the whole thing orchestrated and set up, but then didn't work out, and Hunter was getting upset.
Morning, I was sitting about 20 feet behind the president's son in the courtroom yesterday, and as the deal started to fall apart, he appeared increasingly upset.
Hunter Biden left the federal courthouse in Wilmington after the plea agreement reached with prosecutors last month collapsed. The president's son was expected to plead guilty to two misdemeanor tax charges and was expected to enter a diversion program to resolve a third charge for felony gun possession. But Trump-appointed Judge Mary Ellen Noreika's questions about the scope and structure of the agreement ultimately led to it unraveling.
Plea agreements fall apart every day in federal court, but they don't fall apart in high-profile cases like this based on such fundamental misunderstandings.
There were not any misunderstandings. They knew exactly what they were doing. They just didn't want the judge to interfere with it. They couldn't put it in writing. They tried to squeeze it through. They had an unwritten understanding, and when they got called out on it, then they both had to do this performance art. They both had to play theater and patty cake with each other, and Hunter's lawyers had to perform for his client, so they had to stand out there and pound the table. Your Honor, we've been working so hard on this for 5 years. My client is in unique circumstances, blah, blah, blah. So he's raging for his client, for Hunter's benefit. The prosecutors are raging to save their own skin because the judge is looking at them saying, what the heck are you doing in my courtroom? You authorized this? You've got the duty of care of a prosecutor, and you're bringing me this plea deal in my courtroom telling me that I can't even exercise my own judgment. You're coming into my courtroom and telling me I'm handcuffed in my courtroom, and that if you have a problem with this in the future, you're just going to give me a phone call and give me a page my beeper, and I'm going to show up and say, hi, how can I help facilitate this resolution for you two? On my spare time, I've got a courtroom to run here. I'm not your private judge. So they knew exactly what they were doing. They just got caught.
Critical disagreement between U.S. Attorney David Weiss, a Trump appointee, and Hunter Biden's legal team is over whether the plea would close the door on future charges for other possible crimes. Weiss has said consistently the probe is ongoing. Judge Noreika said she felt she was being asked to rubber stamp an agreement she had concerns about and questioned if the resolution to the gun charge was even constitutional.
Hunter Biden is a private citizen, and this was a personal matter for him.
The White House reiterated the president's support for his son, but stressed the independence of the Justice Department. Republicans have criticized the plea agreement, calling it a sweetheart deal.
There shouldn't be two justice systems in America, and hopefully today that's what's being done.
Hunter Biden left the federal courthouse behind me without commenting for reporters. He's entered a plea of not guilty for now. A plea deal is still possible. The parties have 30 days to answer the judge's questions before she makes a decision.
Thank you, Catherine. We appreciate that nice update. Increasingly upset Hunter had a bad day. He really did have a bad day. He's like, oh man. His lawyers told him, we got this whole thing in the bag, buddy. Don't worry about it. We got the documents all signed. He read everything. He put on a nice suit and tie. Probably left all of his dime bags at home on this occasion. Was expected to go out of this. Done. Okay. Like go talk to his diversion people, not have to be on pretrial services and go do drug testing and go get a real job. All of this happened to him. And he has the real possibility now that this blanket immunity deal that was going to exonerate him from all future prosecutions by actual prosecutors, not the so-called prosecutors that exist at the DOJ right now, all that's flying out the window. So he's freaked. I wonder if the White House checked on him. Are they concerned about it? Hey, how's the president's son doing now that his scam deal from your DOJ didn't go through?
Reaction to the legal developments yesterday and with the initial plea deal for his son appearing to fall apart.
So look, I'm really not going to say anything more than what I shared yesterday. This is a personal matter for Hunter Biden.
He showed up in a Secret Service motorcade.
You know, a personal issue. And as you know, this is
personal issue involving leverage of the White House and the president.
Been done in an independent way by the Department of Justice. It has been led by a Trump-appointed prosecutor.
Wrong.
And I'm just not going to comment beyond what I said.
It's been led by a corrupt DOJ. You guys promised us at your administration that David Weiss would have full authority to bring charges wherever he wanted. Then it turns out the whistleblower said that's not true.
Yesterday, and of course, and we have said this multiple times, the president and the first lady, they love their son and they support him as he is working to rebuild his life. I'm just not going to say anything beyond that.
Son's legal challenges will continue to take attention away from the White House now that this plea deal has fallen apart.
I'm just not going to speak to the politics of this. I'm not going to speak to characterize any of this for the president. What I can say is that, and I've said this before, this is a personal matter. This is Hunter Biden, as you know, is a private citizen, and this was done in an independent way. This investigation is being led by a Trump-appointed prosecutor. And so the Department of Justice is independent. We give them the space to be independent, and we respect the rule of law. I'm just not going to get into details of characterizing.
Has he spoken to Hunter?
I'm just not going to speak to any private conversation that the president has with his family.
Hey, Hunter, it's Dad. Are you okay? Yeah, so they're interested in January 6th justice, but not justice on their watch for their people. This is another question. Are you sure, Karine, can you say unequivocally that you have not gotten any special preference given to Hunty?
I'm not going to ask you to speak to anything other than this administration. Can you state categorically that the administration has neither sought nor received favorable treatment from the DOJ for any investigation into the president, members of the administration, his family, or former President Donald Trump?
Absolutely not. The Department of Justice is independent.
Yeah, right.
The president respects the rule of law.
Yeah.
He has been saying that since he was before president, and that will remain the case.
Nice statement. A lot of force there. She kept a straight face on that one. Pretty amazing. They were using this new statement that Hunter is just an innocent private citizen. He happens to be living at the White House. Allegations are that he was trading on the U.S. government's good name, exploiting his daddy's position of power to deliver services for clients. He was making $80,000 a month from Burisma, tons more from all of the other companies in China and Romania. But should we just leave him alone? I mean, he's just a private citizen. Well, what about Boebert? Here's what she says.
Jen Psaki's replacement, saying that she's not going to comment on the firearms charges where he illegally purchased a firearm and then just dismiss everything and say that he's a private citizen. This frustrates me because the left doesn't care about the private citizens in my family. They go after every single one of them every chance that they get. And mark my words, the corrupt Biden crime family will go down as the most corrupt family in American political history.
True.
They do not care about facts. They don't care about actual evidence. You just showed an entire monologue of people saying there is no evidence when that's all we have provided. The FD 1023s, the criminal investigative IRS whistleblowers that we brought before the committee that showed $17.3 million that was funneled through these shell companies. Hunter Biden has funneled more money through these shady business deals than blockchain and crypto. And this is something the American people are waking up to, and they're seeing the corruption and they want accountability. We do not need someone who is in the White House holding the office of President of the United States of America who has these shady, corrupt deals that are going on. And clearly the bribery schemes that we are seeing with Joe Biden.
All right, so that's Lauren Boebert over in the House of Representatives saying, you know, there's no privacy for other people and the White House is about as corrupt as they come. So, oh, Hunter's upset. Oh, no. Well, he'll get over it. Hopefully, we see him in a better mood, ready to face the consequences at his next pretrial conference.